Panthers at Titans. Winnable? Like that's where we're at with the Panthers. You're not picking games they will win. You're picking games where there is a chance they will win. Is this one possible? If things break their way and things go well and you get a couple lucky breaks, could it be feasible that they win this game? Yes, this one is winnable.
Well, 3-7, Tennessee is also going, hey, winnable.
They might be going likely win. They might be chalking this one up as a dub.
This is you better win this one.
This is a win for sure game for them. It's winnable. The Titans this week with Will Levis, that's winnable. And Will Levis, by the way, has a bit of the Matt Stafford effect going on, right? Which is he plays one really good game, and that's what everyone remembers, and that's how everyone's reputation of him. He played a great game his first time out there, threw 4 touchdowns, deep balls, whole bunch of stuff. Since then, come back down to earth in a big way, in an aggressive way. So if I'm the Panthers, I'm looking at this game saying winnable. Winnable, winnable, winnable. Which should be enough to get energy up, right? Should be enough to get buy-in. Should be enough to get players showing up ready to work this week. Winnable. But then I start looking at their schedule, and I'm going, wait a second, Tampa Bay. I don't think anyone's afraid of Tampa Bay. You can describe that as winnable. New Orleans. No one's afraid of New Orleans. Atlanta, Green Bay, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay. That schedule is very easy. Now, I'm saying very easy in like the general sense of NFL schedules. I'm not saying very easy to a team like the Panthers, but it's very easy. The next 7 games are Tennessee, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Atlanta, Green Bay, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay. Really, out of those teams, the only one that's going to scare, a majority of the teams they face is Jacksonville. So I was like, all right, let me go look up the rest of season schedules, right? Because I research, got to get my notes, got to get everything done. So I went and looked up rest of season strength of schedules. So based on win-loss records, the rest of your schedule, who plays the hardest, who plays the weakest, strength of schedule. The Carolina Panthers have the 27th most difficult schedule the rest of the way based on win-loss records. 27th. I was like, wow, it seems like it should be easier than that. Well, I looked up the teams below them. 27th, okay. The 28th hardest, the 30th hardest, the 31st hardest, and the 32nd hardest all play the Panthers. So their strength of schedule dips a bunch because they're playing the only 1-9 team in the league. So if you eliminate the games that the Panthers are playing, you could argue the Panthers have the easiest strength of schedule. Right? Everybody else gets the boost of playing the Panthers, meaning the boost to their lack of difficulty. The Panthers can't get that boost because they are them. And I know that was a very confusing conversation. I did my best. So, Panthers fans, you have a very, very optimistic schedule down the stretch. This is not to curb that optimism immediately. It is not a situation where the Panthers are going to win 7 straight games and head into the offseason with all the momentum in the world. But that doesn't mean it's not an opportunity. It doesn't mean it's not a real and legitimate opportunity. There is very obviously room for the Panthers to play multiple, if not a majority, of close games down the stretch. You might get blown out a time or two. You shouldn't get blown out often. And that is good for everyone. It is great for the development of Bryce Young if he can play in a whole bunch of games that are 1-score games. It is great for the development of that defense if they can play in games where the opposing team isn't just running the ball and trying to shorten the clock. Right? If it's a close game, you're going to get the other team's best mix of pass and run, best whatever their best is, right? If they're a running team, you're going to get running team. If they're a play action team, you'll get play action. You'll get their best fastball pitch all the way up through the end of the game. The Panthers haven't gotten that a ton, not from good teams. There's very obviously room for the Panthers to play close games and or win a few. Yeah, I'm saying that. There's opportunity for them to win a few with the 7 games going down the rest of the schedule. And on top of that, you mix in this, there's no reason for the Panthers not to want to win games. Right? This is not a situation where they should be tanking. This is not a situation where they'll be trying to lose. This is not a situation where they won't be motivated in every way to win. Very obviously, room for the Panthers to play close games, and they should be going full throttle to do so. That's good for the development of those on your roster. And that's kind of exciting. Right? We saw it this past weekend. Bank of America Stadium might as well have been Jerry World.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of disrespectful. Jerry Jones, at the game in Carolina, announced that he was putting Jimmy Johnson into the Ring of Honor back in Dallas.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes before the game. It was as if they were doing an on-field ceremony at home, but it was on the road. But there were so many Cowboys fans, it kind of made sense. Panthers fans, if you're looking for something to be excited about, I genuinely think this schedule is something that could do that. Tennessee is a game that is winnable. And you should celebrate wins. You're not conflicted, right? Like when the Cardinals win, I think there's some conflict there, right? Because you're seeing like, hey, Kyler Murray's doing great, but you're also going, that pick's getting worse. There's a lot of that going on across the NFL right now. When the Giants win, great, way to go, DeVito. And then their head, they're going like, Marvin Harrison Jr. might not be realistic.
Or a quarterback.
The Patriots are thinking that. If the Patriots squeak out a win, they're going like, maybe Drake May won't save Belichick. And there's none of that going on with the Carolina Panthers. Atlanta, winnable, right? I'm not scared by Desmond Ridder, who they're putting back in place. Tampa Bay, if you're scared of Baker Mayfield, you had him up close and personal here last year. I don't know if you should be scared of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Mike Evans might scare you a little bit.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. There's some players to Rashad White. There's some players on that offense to scare you. It's just Baker's the one that's got to get him the ball. New Orleans, we've talked about them a bunch, but they can't figure out a whole bunch of things.
Derek Carr even healthy?
Oh, I'm not sorry. Yeah, and there's that thing also. Green Bay, and I like what Jordan Love is doing. I think he's putting together some things, but I'm still not terrified of him. That's a winnable game. That's what it all comes down to. When you're a Panthers fan, you're not counting wins, you're counting winnables. Right? You look at right, when you're a playoff team, what do? You look at the rest of the schedule, you go win, loss, maybe, win, maybe, win. All right, we got 3 wins and 2 maybes. You look at the Panthers, you're just hoping for maybes.
Yeah.
Loss, maybe. And then you look at this, the rest of the schedule is like kind of maybe. Probably lost, but maybe. That's a lot of maybes. I'll take it. You got to take what you can get when you're a Panthers fan is what I'm getting after here.
It's a chance, like you said, for them to be in some meaningful situations in terms of like fourth quarter drives or whether that's defensively, maybe even, hey, you're up by 3 with 4 minutes to go and you have the ball. How do you handle that?
And not pretend meaningful situations,
yeah.
Right? Like, all right, we're down 14, but let's go 2-minute drill to get a feel for it. Like, no. It's a 1-score game and there's minute 30 before half. This is a 2-minute drill for the right reasons.
Exactly.
Let's amp up the intensity and go play. Like, that's important, and the schedule can help.